Hi, everyone. I'm Corey Perez, and I am a broker in Central Washington. I own YV Wine Country Properties, and we're here today with Gus from ISA, and he's going to share with us how to convert more online leads today. So
Love it.
at the end, we will definitely have time for questions, but in the meantime, if you type your questions into the chat, I will ask them and make sure Gus sees them or hears them rather.
All
All
right.
right.
Sounds great. I love it. I love it. And what we'll give people a minute or two to jump in. I
Awesome.
would love to hear in the chat. I mean, drop a one in the chat if you're currently generating online leads. It can be Facebook, Google, Zillow, Trulia, if that still exists, realtor.com, whatever it is, what is it? Grizzly Leads, homes.com. What are a lot of newer ones? All connector, all these different, lead sources. If you currently generate leads online, drop a one in the chat. So I got a few ones, in there. Cool. Awesome. I love it. I love it. One of it. So we got it. Okay, good. There we go. A good chunk of the folks that are joining us live are currently generating leads. If you're currently generating online leads right now, drop a one in the chat for the folks that are just joining us. Drop a one in the chat if you're currently generating online leads. Great. I love it. Cool. Okay. Well, if you're currently generating leads, well, then you folks came to the right place because today we're going to talk about my four favorite ways, the most effective ways that I've seen right now, 2024, to get more of those leads to turn into signed buyers, signed sellers, and into closed transactions. Okay. Because I think right now in 2024, and Corey, you won't let me lie, generating leads online, I'm not going to say it's easy to do. I don't think it's easy, but it is easier than ever before. I don't know if that's fair or not. I don't know if you agree, but you can generate leads, right? I think generating the leads isn't the problem agents have right now. I'll venture off and say, you know, I think you can just pick out your credit card and leads will flow, right? And that's roughly it. And there's more to it than that. I understand. I'm being a little facetious there, but it is that simple. I mean, you take out the credit card, get on somebody's system, and the leads will start flowing. If they're more or less, it kind of depends on a lot of other factors. But today we're not talking about marketing. Today we're talking about conversion, right? The conversion problem, taking the deep dive into conversion. My opinion right now is that the biggest challenge real estate agents face isn't how can I get leads, right? It's well, actually, a lot of folks say this. They say, I want to get leads, but I want the good leads. I don't want these crappy leads, the ones that will pick up the phone, don't even know what I'm talking about. The ones that I talked to one time and never pick up the phone again. I don't want those leads. I want the good ones. Gus, which are the really, really good ones, right? Because the ones I've tried, they're no good. That's the issue, right? I have. I'm going to challenge. If that's your thought, right? I'm not even going to ask you to put a one in the chat. And that's what a lot of people think, and that's a very common, way to look at it, right? I don't want online leads because those are really, really bad. I want the good online leads, the really, really good ones, Gus, because those are the ones that are going to work for me. The other ones have never worked for me, right? A lot of folks struggle with online leads. All right, there's a common number thrown out in the industry that internet leads converted about 1%. And I've seen real teams with real numbers, and that's accurate, right? The top teams in the country convert 1 to 3% of their internet leads within 12 to 24 months. Any group of leads, 12 to 24 months, will convert 1 up to 3%, right? But that is the elite in the country. Okay, those are the best teams, top teams. Most agents, the overwhelming majority, their conversion rate on internet leads is zero, not 1%, half a percent. It is zero leads converted into transactions, right? So that is the problem I think we need to face. It is not how to get from 2.5 to 2.8 to 3, right? That if you're in 3%, you're doing it at the highest level. You're doing it at a really high level, right? But my challenge and what I want to help are the folks that are nowhere near that. Okay, nowhere near that. And you might think, I think erroneously, that you've got the wrong leads. I've got the wrong leads. If I had the good leads, I could convert at 3%, right? And I'm going to challenge you today, and I'm going to go, if you apply the four things I'm about to tell you right now, you're going to be a lot closer to that 3% than you can imagine right now. Okay. You can convert at the highest level because I'm going to share with you what I've learned from you guys, right? The real estate agents out there, the top teams, the elite, people that are my clients, quite frankly, right? Because one of the things people use, right, is, and I'll talk more about this during the presentation, is they have someone helping them with conversion. That's one of the ways to improve those results, right? But I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Let me jump into it, right? Let's jump right into the meat of the presentation. Let's go. All right. So lead conversions today. Okay. So we're talking about 4 ways to convert more online leads. I'm going to rephrase those as 4 problems you've got to solve. Okay. Because the reality is there's more than one way to skin this cat. I'm not going to say, oh, this is the only way to do it. So I'm going to flip it and go, you've got to find solutions, good solutions to 4 problems. Okay. 4 different problems. Speed to lead and speed to response, those are different things, okay? But I grouped them all in kind of the same problem. It's a speed problem. There's the having enough contact attempts. This is where a lot of agents fail, quite frankly, in that second problem. Once they respond, you've got online leads. Some of them respond to you. And I'm going to give you my best tips on how to avoid getting ghosted, because that's the #1 issue with internet leads. It's not that they don't ever respond. That is also a common issue. But the most common issue is when they respond, agents are challenged. They're not sure how to continue that conversation, how to set yourself up for success with these internet leads. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm going to talk about the last part of the whole equation, the follow-up and the nurture process. Another big area where I see a lot of mistakes happen. People can have a really good initial conversation, but they're going to drop the ball in the long game, right? Because we can be really, really good at meeting someone and getting excited and getting them excited. But what happens after that, right? Because I'm going to give you, this can be good news or bad news. I'm going to tell you the truth, right? Out of 100 internet leads, and I'm talking about Google, whether it's Facebook and Connector and Grizzly and Sync and Boomtown, out of 100, there's maybe 5 people, 3 to 5, depending on what you look at, that you should talk to right now. 3, probably more average. 5, that's the hardest number I've ever heard, that you should talk to right now. Like right now, you have that conversation with them because they might be transacting in the next 6 to 12 months. Okay. Out of any group of 100 leads, there's a pretty solid statistic. Okay. Within the next 12 months. That statistic is so strong that if you grab the phone book in America and you grab a list of 100 adults in America, I'm going to blow your mind with the statistic. 6% of the people on that list, of any random list of adults in the US, 6% are directly or closely related to someone that's party to a real estate transaction every single year. So, folks, off of the phone book, 6% of the people are going to be party to a real estate transaction. That's so common in the US, right? And I got that number from 5 million transactions, about 15 million adults in a transaction every year. Out of 5 million transactions, there's 200 million adults in the country. It comes down to about 6%, right? 6% of any list of adults is going to be party or closely related to someone, father, son, sister, brother, spouse, of someone in party to a real estate transaction every single year. Okay. So that number is wild. I mean, that always, changes my perspective when I hear that statistic. Okay. Crazy to hear that. Crazy to hear that, right? It's basically 1 out of every 15 adults every single year in this country is party to a real estate transaction every single year. Okay. That's wild. And I think that's on the low end. It's a conservative estimate. I actually think it's higher than that, but I'm being, easy numbers. So out of any list of internet leads, you should talk to 3 to 5 people, but the other 95 people, typically agents discard them, right? And that's the mistake. Okay. That's going to hold you back from getting 10x ROI, not just making your money back. 10x ROI comes from knowing what to do with the other 95 people. And that's what number 4 is about. Okay, let's jump into it, folks. A lot to cover today. We got about 35 minutes left. Let's jump into it. Okay, speed to lead and speed to response. Folks, 78% of leads, this is a really well-known statistic in real estate, are going to interact, are going to engage with whoever actually reaches out to them first, okay? And this is like a broader statistic more than just real estate, all right? And you've heard this other statistic. If you reach out within the first minute, you're 4 times more likely to gain that interaction. If you reach out within the first minute, right? If you take longer than 5 minutes, you're 100 times less likely to actually reach them. Okay. So, which is wild. I found this statistic from this company called Time to Reply. The optimal response time by industry. I thought that was pretty interesting. Real estate, 5 minutes. Software, an hour. Healthcare, 10 minutes. Financial services, 30 minutes. Anyone want to guess why real estate is so tight? Is by far the shortest of all of these. And I'll give you that response. It is one of the most competitive industries out there, right? One of the most competitive. That's why it's so important to reach out quickly. Reach out quickly.
I think that
Corey,
makes, I just
you
want
want to
to
jump in,
say
Corey?
that is so true. And with so many people selling leads and everything else, the first one in is generally the one.
100%, right? And I don't want to, I don't want to go overboard and say, oh, the first person that talks to them is going to close the deal with them. No, no, no. The first one that talks to them gets the shot at getting in front of them. Okay, they get that opportunity. That is more true than real estate than I think in any other industry. Software, they can take an hour to call them back. Why? Because there's not that many Salesforce.coms, right? There's not that many of them. Let's be honest here. There's not 2 million people selling the exact same Salesforce.com. There isn't. And there's almost 2 million real estate agents, right? They want to get people's attention every single day, right? Not that we're all the same, but we all have essentially the same job to do, right? Which is get people into homes. There's only so many homes, right? So there's a lot of agents. That's where the response time has to be intense. Check out the actual response time. Guys, I've been in this game a long time. This is very accurate. This is scary how accurate this is. Typically 4 hours. That's a very tricky number, right? Because 50% of leads, online leads, it takes days for most agents to get back to them. It takes days, okay? Sometimes more than 24 hours to get back to these internet leads. And you can see by other industries, it's up and down depending on the industry, but I think that's wild. Why is that wild? Because a lot of agents don't have the systems, the process, or the way to set up the tools to help them with this, okay? Going to jump into this, here's some more statistics. I'm going to fly by this. This also means that this compares leads coming in through lead forms and leads that you call, right? If you just get them as an inbound versus a call, how are you going to convert those? And phone calls still win, even in 2024. Phone calls still win. Leads that are converted via the phone are always going to have a higher conversion rate than some that just come in. Why? I think it's obvious. It's obvious to me. We're not selling, polo shirts on Amazon, right? I mean, some people they'll just convert. You don't have to have a salesperson talking to them. You want to buy a $600,000 home, you probably want a conversation with someone, right? But this particular home at this particular price, that has a conversation have to happen. It makes a lot of sense. The data supports that. So a lot of folks are scratching their heads. You guys know this statistic. You've heard that number before. Call them between 5 minutes. I had one of my clients tell me, Gus, my coach said we have to call within 30 seconds. Okay. So okay. So 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. These numbers are just nuts. Okay. It's not realistic. 95% of real estate agents have no way to do that with themselves and their cell phone. Okay. There's just no way to do that. It's not possible. Unless you have a very large team, you've got dedicated staff. But what about afternoons? What about weekends? It's crazy, okay? But there are some tools out there that can help with this, okay? Automation is your friend. This is where the tools come in and they can augment the real estate agent, right? There's a lot of tools here. I don't see them 100%, replacing the real estate agent. That's not what the intention is, but they can help you get a leg up, right? And maybe you're not going to be within the first 30 seconds. That's not realistic. But you can be within those first 5 minutes using tools like this. What is this? First call automation. What is that, Gus? When a lead comes in, your system, a piece of software, calls them. Okay. But Gus, is it AI? Is it a bot? Is it an ISA? No. It's calling them to connect them to you. It's actually calling both of you, trying to do kind of a three-way call, but there's no third person. It's just a robot calling the lead right away as soon as they come in and calling you at the same time, trying to get you guys connected. Okay. Does it work every single time? No, but it is way better than you being an appointment, you being driving, doing something else where you can't even notice the lead coming in. But guess what? We notice phone calls as agents. Oh, we know when someone's calling, right? And imagine you've got your number saved there saying, hey, if this number calls me, it's my robot telling me I've got a lead. Are you more likely to pick up the phone? Yes, you are, right? Absolutely. Every single day of the week. When you know money's calling, probably it's like the folks that have maybe you've got Zillow Flex. When Zillow Flex calls you, you're gonna stop, like pull over and pick up the phone, right? Because you know money's calling. Imagine that kind of a call, but for every kind of leads. First call automation. If your CRM doesn't support it, find one that does because you're gonna connect with more leads. Missed call text back. What does that mean, Gus? Let's say you're not able to connect for whatever reason. A lot of things can happen. You're not able to connect. If someone calls you or your main business line, right? The one you advertise, and they're not able to reach you, the automation should kick off a text message saying, you know what? Sorry, I missed your call, right? I mean, can I call you back at a later time or does texting work better? You should send that to every single person that you're not able to connect with. Every single person, whether they're calling you back or you're calling them and able to reach them. A text message should go out automatically, not wait for you or your team to text someone. It should be an automated part of your response. Why? Because 80% of leads will not call you. If you got them to call you or be curious about who called them, 80% are not going to call again. They're not, right? This is across all business, not just real estate, across all businesses in the US. 80% of people that are trying to reach you and they can't reach you are just going to go with the next real estate agent because they don't know you yet. They don't know Corey. They don't know how awesome she is, like an expert in wine country of Washington. They don't know, right? So they're going to go with another agent. Oh no, got to save them, right? Can't let that happen. Can't let that happen. All right, 30% of all business calls in America go unanswered. I think that's wild, right? Crazy statistic. 30% of business calls go unanswered. To have the automation help you out. And also be aware, there are something called SMS compliance updates, folks. Okay. You got to be compliant. And that's the bottom line. You got to be compliant. A lot of you folks might already know what these are. You've got to be able to do these automations in a compliant way. They still work, but you've got to follow the rules and be quick and make sure you're doing it the right way. You can't use salesy language. You can't send hyperlinks. You can't try to set appointments via text immediately. You'll get banned. You'll get blocked. It won't work anymore. We're in a different world texting wise than we were 4 or 5 months ago. Completely different. Okay. And my recommendation to my ISAs, my clients, when a lead texts you, your first inclination should be to call them back. Don't text them back, call them back. And if they don't pick up, hey, I just tried calling, you prefer text because text work better, right? But always call them back. iPhones and people are friendly to calls that are coming from someone you have an active text conversation with. They're much more likely to not mark that number as spam. Oh, you're texting this number. Come on in, right? They let you pass the gatekeeper, okay? Really important. But here's a big one, right? Conversation AI. So the automation, text automation has been around for years and years and years, probably a decade, right? Text automation. But conversation AI, powered by ChatGPT, has been around for 1 year, probably less than 1 year. At scale, only a few months, okay? So conversation AI can not just respond, it can hold down the fort while you get in there into the conversation. They can ask them, hey, how can I help? What's up? And it can be trained almost immediately. You point them at your website, and it'll be a seemingly wine country expert in Yakima by pointing them at your website, pointing them at some documents you've got, pointing them at other websites so that you can train this chatbot on what area you live in, what are the great features, what inventory is available. It's crazy what this conversation AI can do nowadays, but you should be using this, okay? You can train these much, much faster and much more custom than ever before. I think this is crazy. If you have a team, if you're lucky enough to have a team, there's some great solutions here too. One of them is the Shark Tank model. If you've been on a large team that does internet leads, you know what this is. It rings everyone at the same time. Everyone gets that call when a new lead comes in, okay? And it is whoever claims it first wins. That is the system. That's the model. I've seen agents change carriers saying, man, Verizon gets the call before my AT&T number gets the call for whatever. So they switch carriers to get 1/2 a second more speed. And when that ringing comes in, that's the competition you foster, okay? Another solution to this, one that's near and dear to my heart, is ISA. Having someone on shift, making sure you respond to these folks right away, immediately. Give them a call within that, not even 5 minutes, within that 1 minute. As soon as lead comes in, drop everything and give them a phone call and try to convert them immediately, okay? Really, really important. And another development for this In this scenario, this first touch scenario, the speed to response, speed to lead, is conversation AI on voice AI. Voice AI is going to be the next thing. And maybe folks have figured this out or you don't know this yet, but the FCC already came out and said that AI for cold calling is just not going to fly in the US. It's considered a robocall, not going to work. However, AI voice for inbound leads, I just spoke to my attorney about it on Friday, a lawyer, a guy who knows what he's talking about, FCC attorney, telemarketing attorney, and he says you can do that. That is allowed as long as you disclose. You can have your AI bot call them and ask them a few questions. I think it's crazy. We're testing it out right now with Empower ISA. We're very impressed with the results. I didn't think we'd be here for years. And some of these AI voice bots can actually qualify leads and book appointments, which I think is crazy on this initial contact scenario. Okay. Like I said, remember, 3 to 5, you should have a conversation with right now. The bot doesn't solve the 97-95 problem, but it does solve that 3% or 5% problem, which is very valuable. That's still valuable to solve immediately. I think that's wild. I think this will be the topic of my next webinar, maybe in March or April. I'll be talking about the advances in AI voice, which is crazy. Okay. But these are solutions to the first problem. Let's jump into the second problem. Okay. Now, folks, I know for a fact, right, there's like 30, 40 people watching this right now. 33 of you, 38 of you have a problem with this. I know it. I know you do. Okay. Because it is not in our nature to bother people. Oh, Gus, I know I already called that lead today. I kind of called them yesterday. I mean, maybe I should email them. No, you shouldn't email. I'll get into the follow-up plan. But if you're not feeling uncomfortable calling that lead for the 7th time, you're doing it wrong. It should feel uncomfortable, right? Because there's no one else you'd call 7 days in a row, right? Like on the phone. There's no one you would double dial to get in touch with. Double dial, triple dial, right? You wouldn't do that normally. But this isn't a normalization. You're trying to get their attention, okay? Most agents do not contact their leads enough times. Period. End of story. They just don't. And you got so I want to change your mindset about this because a lot of agents are afraid. They don't want to make a mess. They don't want to interrupt them. They don't want to bother them. Okay. I want to try and change your mindset on this with one example. Okay. What if a family member, right, was asking you for help, asking you, call me back. I need your help here, right? Would you take 2 days to make that call? Would you wait until the next? I just texted them yesterday. Let me wait until tomorrow to return that call from an urgent need from my family member. What if you wanted to give your family member a $10,000 bill? Okay, that's what this is. This is a real bill, by the way. No, this is a real thing. At one point, there were $10,000 bills. What if you wanted to give them a $10,000 bill? Would you wait a couple of days, maybe text them, maybe send an email, or would you pick up the phone and let them know that you wanted to give them something that valuable, right? You should treat your follow-ups like this. You probably would call them more than one time. If a family member was in urgent need, you would probably call more than once. Okay. If you wanted to give away $10,000 to your favorite person in the world, you probably would follow up more than one time if they didn't pick up. Okay. It wouldn't be just one and done, which is unfortunately what a lot of agents do. They'll call and text once or twice, 2-3 days, and then kind of move on to the next new lead. And they're leaving a lot of money on the table. $10,000 is a small amount of money compared to what agents leave on the table every day by not being hardcore enough with these leads. Not enough. Here is my recommendation on how to do this. Yeah, Corey.
I was just going to say, I would almost look at it every time your phone rings as if it's a $10,000 bill calling you. Like answer
100%.
your phone.
It's money on the line. It's money on
Exactly.
the line. Are you free? I hope you are, right? I hope you are. So I've been guilty of this, but I'm not, in retrospect, I go, I did the right thing. I've been at listing appointments, my phone rings, and I know it's a brand new inbound lead. I will excuse myself to take a call. Maybe that's not good. That's not a great practice. That's risky. That is the importance I gave, right? Fresh inbound internet leads. As an active agent, that's the importance I gave it. You should give it that same importance. Okay, important. And if you truly are not available, use the automation to get in touch with them, right? And here we go. I want to talk about first day, the first 7 days, the first 30 days, and beyond. Okay. because, oh, 10 days of pain, 2 weeks. There is no, you're not done in 10 days, right? There is no 10 days of pain. This is 2024. 10 days of pain is from 2010, guys. Okay. That worked in 2010. You were good in 10 days in 2010. That's where that's the time frame that model came from. 10 days of pain doesn't apply anymore, right? You've got to find a way to follow up until they buy or die is a really good saying that I like to keep around, right? Because that's the kind of a long-term thinking you should think about this. But again, you're not calling every lead on the planet every single day. Let's look at this. First day activities, double dial your internet leads, right? If you're not doing this, do this now. Because cell phones, because this, because that, because all these things, you should double dial. Robocalls don't double dial. Okay. That's a great way to distinguish that you're an actual person trying to reach someone. Okay. So
I
people
just
might be
want
curious. Hey, why this number call me twice? Yeah, Corey?
That's what I was going to ask. So double dialing is literally they don't answer you the first time and then you call again.
100%. Yes, that's exactly it. Dial once, they don't pick up, dial again. If they still don't pick up, you can leave them a voicemail. And a lot of other calling, I don't leave voicemails. In inbound internet leads, I absolutely leave a voicemail, right? It's got to be a powerful voicemail. State the purpose of the call. Corey, I got your message through Facebook. I see you looking for great properties here in the Yakima wine country. I've got a couple I'd love to share with you. Tell me what you're looking for. See if we can make them a good fit. Let me know, right? That is more than, hey, it's Corey trying to reach you by. Who cares? I don't care. I don't know whether, no offense, I don't know who Corey is. Like, I have no idea, right? I'm glad you called me, or maybe, I don't know. No, but you got to got to tease an offer in there. Make it a powerful voicemail, okay? Otherwise, then if you're not going to do it that way, well, then don't leave it. In that case, you got permission to not leave it. But my recommendation is leave the voicemail because most people will read those. They will read your voicemails, visual voicemail. Android, iPhone both have visual voicemail now. Find a way to do it, right? Text them saying, hey, Corey, I tried to call you. I got your message from Facebook. Are you free for a call or does texting work better? Okay. It's a very easy thing to say yes to. A very easy, give them a reason to respond. They don't have to engage with you about the homes, about their search. No. Is this okay? Are you getting these? Right? Have I got the right number here? You want them to interact with you in a very simple way. Make it simple for them to respond to you and then engage them in the conversation. Okay. The next 7 days, you're calling and you're texting every single day. Okay. Every single day. Because my guidance used to be, I want you to alternate. I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And then I saw the teams doing it at the highest level, calling every day, every single day. Them or their ISAs or their teams are calling every single day for the first week, trying to get in touch because a lot of these leads, they will not respond before the fifth attempt, sixth attempt, right? Seventh attempt, maybe. We've measured this very closely. And after about the eighth or ninth call attempt within the first 30-day period, you don't really change the outcome very much, right? 7 or 8 is like really where the big drop off comes. So no, you shouldn't call them every day for a month. It's not useful. It doesn't help you convert more leads. But that's not the problem most agents have, actually, right? You guys know this. That's not your problem. Your problem is you don't call 7 times. You don't call 5 times. A lot of people don't even call 3 times, right? That's the majority of people. So don't worry about calling too many times. But after 7, 8, you really see a big drop off. The first 30 days, you're calling them twice a week until you hit 30 days. First 7 days daily. The next 3 weeks, twice a week. Okay. That's it. And then you're texting as well.
There's a question. Is there a certain time of day to call during the 7 days?
Oh, that's a really good question because I get that question a lot. And the real answer is there's statistics on when contact rates are the highest, right? And I've run them within my own company. It's always going to be 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's going to be 4 to 6 p.m., 4 to 7 p.m., 4 to 8 p.m. in most markets. Those are the best windows. Here's the real answer, though. The problem that I see most agents have isn't that they're calling at the wrong time. It's that they're not making the call, right? Like there's very few agents that are making calls every day and they're not seeing the good outcome. There's very few. And maybe then I'd suggest, okay, this mostly happens when you have ISAs. If I've got an ISA, where do I organize their shift? That can make a difference. For most people, you don't have that problem, guys. It's make the call whenever you have time. So I tell my clients, I tell people to follow me, make a time every single day, 30 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on how many leads you got. 30 minutes a day, 60 minutes a day for follow-up calls. That's not lead generation. You don't replace that with lead generation time. It's lead follow-up time. Okay. Lead follow-up time. You should do other activities for lead generation. This is lead follow-up every single day. When is the best time? Whenever you're going to do it every single day, at least Monday through Friday. At least Monday through Friday. Heck, folks, Monday through Thursday, you're going to get a great result, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I see really good results. Agents do it consistently Monday through Thursday. It's a lot easier for us to handle that, right? But that is the big difference. It's not because it is true. You'll get a slightly higher contact rate, 8 to noon, 8 to 11. Yes, you will. But if you don't make the calls, you get zero improvement on that outcome. And that's the big change most agents need to understand. So it's a good question, but don't let it lead you astray. The problem agents have is not that. It is even making the calls, okay? All right. Then you add them to the pond if they don't respond. This is unresponsive leads. If they don't respond at all in the first 30 days, you add them to the pond, and someone on your team has to call them every month. Every single month, you change the phone number, different number, going out to them. It's a whole new ballgame 30 days later. They're not even going to remember they click on that ad. Who cares? Start the conversation wherever they are in that journey. Every 30 days. The top teams in the country have systems, staff, and people that do this, okay? Because they know the power, and they know how much money they've invested in these leads, and they know how to get the most out of them, which is someone should be handing out. Teams that have 10, 20, 30,000 leads in the database, they get appointments every day from calling their pond. Every single day. Because they just know it's got to find them at the right time. But we're not going to stop trying. Not going to stop trying, okay? Make it a monthly part of your process. All right, folks, if a lead responds, right, saying, you know what, I'm too busy, I didn't fill that out, I don't know what you're talking about, like, leave me alone, click, hang up, right? I want you to change the behavior, because most agents, and I understand why, they'll trash that lead. Don't trash that lead. Call them back within 30 days. Unless they said the magic words, be compliant. If they said remove me from your list, don't call them again ever, right? Put me on your do not contact list. Perfect, sir, of course, fine. Everyone else, call them again within 30 days. Might be a completely different ballgame. And I've seen teams that I didn't think this would work until I saw the data. I'm like, holy cow, leads that would have been unqualified by anybody else. You call again within 30 days, it's a completely different situation, right? You can book appointments with this 100%. All right, number
We have
3.
another question real quick.
Yeah.
How many emails of resources do you send during this time, or MLS listing updates?
So everything I just mentioned right now, it doesn't include email at all. Just to be clear. And I'm going to talk about email and problem number 4. I will get to the email part, because I think email plays a role. But in this initial period, first 30 days, when we're talking about conversion, I focus on phone calls and text messages. That's what's going to get you to convert. Email is much more effective with a contacted lead, okay? Like, that is much more effective when there's something to keep top of mind. If they have no idea who you are, that email is going to get ignored, or it might, unsubscribe into the deleted folder, right? So I think email has a role to play, okay? And if your system automatically sends them saved searches on whatever, that's fine. Those are perfect. No problem with that. But the likelihood those are very accurate is very low, okay? So it's all about having a conversation with them and improving that search, for example, right? It's all about having that conversation. So let's jump into it. Problem number 3, once they respond, you got to be ready for this. Big mistake here. The number one issue agents face with internet leads that they talk to is they get ghosted by those leads by the next contact attempt. Don't even have to drop a 1 in the chat. And all people have dealt with this. I've dealt with this in my own business. You think you have a great conversation, and then they're not responding to the next call, not responding to the next text. What happened there? Well, there's a lot of things that happen. Not gonna lie, it could be a lot of reasons, but one of the major reasons I see is that you don't give them a reason to stay in touch with you. That's what I feel. That's what we can control. Are you giving them a reason to respond, right? It's all about scripting, objection handling, and sounding like a pro, okay? Cannot recommend this book enough. Barry is a coach. He's a moderator in Lab Coat Agents. He wrote the book on this topic, right? It is about what you say. It is about assuming all leads are at the top of the funnel. When we script and we ask them, are you pre-approved? You want to go, how many beds and bathrooms do you want? We might be, inadvertently telling them, I want to work with someone that is pre-approved, right? That's really what I want. I've heard brokers tell their agent, if they're not pre-approved, don't even engage with them. Like, don't even follow up. Wait until they're pre-approved. Like, You think they're going to call you back and tell you, hey, I'm pre-approved now, Corey, I'm ready to work with you now. That's just never going to happen. It's a very antiquated way of thinking about it, right? You should engage the leads where they are. Okay. If they're at the very top of the funnel, you have to say, that's awesome. We love talking to folks that are getting started because that's where we can add the most value. For example, did you know in our area we have a lot of military folks, and a lot of them have what's called a VA loan, and the VA loan's assumable. Did you know that? Oh my God. So, start the conversation there, because the number one objection you're going to get is, oh, I'm just getting started, Corey. I don't need to talk to you guys yet, right? They don't know what they don't know. God bless them. Who knows? They don't know what they don't know. They're being honest with you. I don't think I need to talk to you yet, right? Well, give them a reason to, okay? Give them a reason. And the best way I found, and through trial and error, and then reading this book, is give them an offer. Teach them something they don't know, okay? Tell them about the process. Position yourself and your team as someone knowledgeable about the process. And I think those calls will do way, way better. Your ISA can help with this, okay? And I actually talked to Barry. He did an interview about his book, and he said his ISAs start this process with their leads, right? And I think this process is one of the ones that can be impacted by AI, voice AI, because voice AI, you don't have to remind it to ask the right questions. You don't have to remind it to engage with the lead and ask them a little bit more than just trying to book the appointment. Like once it figures it out, that's all it does. It does not forget. It does not shy away from having a little bit of an awkward conversation and asking a question, right? So voice AI will have a great impact in this scenario, right? The initial contact. I think it can. All right. Folks, like I said, you got to change your focus. Don't ask bottom of funnel questions. You're going to discard these folks. You're going to say, yeah, you know what? Corey just wants the appointment. I'm not ready for that. No, it's too early. Bye. Right? No. Ask questions that even if they're just getting started, they can answer. What would you change about your current home? Have you thought about what you might be looking for in a home? If you're talking about beds, baths, and square footage, that's they're going to discard you for that because they might not be ready for that. They might not be. And you need a great hook. Folks, everyone, like I said, you should be making offers to your audience, right? I consider these leads your audience. They're coming into your orbit, right? They should be receiving offers from you on that initial call. They should be receiving offers from you via text. They should be receiving offers from you in email, which I'm going to talk about too, right? But these are contacted leads, not throwing these out to the wind. You're actually trying to get them to follow on with you and see what else you have to say. That first impression matters a lot. Is that fair? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's true. You've got that one shot to make that impression and avoid being ghosted. All right. Okay, we've got about 8 minutes left. We have one more problem we have to deal with. And at the end of this presentation, for you warriors that stuck around to the end, I have not one, not two, but 3 special offers to give you guys at the end of this presentation. So stick around to the end. We're almost there. We are in the home stretch. Okay. And this is important because this is another one I see a lot of agents make a mistake on, okay? A lot of mistakes with this one, which is the follow-up and the nurture, all right? Like I said before, when you're talking about how many attempts you need to make to contact the lead, if you're not getting a little uncomfortable, you're not doing it right, because it should be uncomfortable, right? It should be. That's the process. Nothing wrong with that. That's the job. If you're not following up with your leads enough, right? I also think you're doing it wrong. If you're not hesitating a little bit to make that call, you're not being aggressive. I see very few agents lose deals because they're too aggressively following up with their leads. I see a lot of agents lose deals because they waited too long to check back in. Okay. Add some value. If you've been doing internet lead generation long enough, you make that call. Hey, Bob, how's it going? We chatted a few months ago. You told me to call you back in a few months to see how things are going. Oh, you already got the home under contract. We're good, man. We're good to go. Thanks so much. Thanks for checking in. You seem like a great person. Bye. You've had that call, right? It's happened. Older internet lead, they didn't let you know. Shame on them, right? They didn't let you know they were ready to go. Well, it's not their fault, right? What you can control is trying to stay top of mind. And that always includes a phone call. There's no other way to do it with these leads. I wish there were, but that phone call. And this, once the lead has been contacted, okay? We're not talking about uncontacted the pond. This is not the pond. This is everybody else that isn't in the pond. People you've contacted. This part of the process There's no automation to do this. Okay. A lot of agents ask, what's the best automation for follow up and nurture? I'm like, what? Like, why would you make an automatic generic drip to a lead you've already spoken to? Okay. You know that they've got an elderly mom that's moving in with them and they need a 1-story, a ranch style home for the folks out west, right? They need a ranch style home in this community. Why would you let some generic boilerplate SMS or email template tell them something else? Your follow-up should be for that client. Hey, I found a couple of really nice ranch style properties, Miss Lead. Would you like me to send those over? That's what follow-up should look like. You should banish the words, I'm just checking in, touching base. How's it going? Hi, are you bottom of funnel yet or not? Because I'm waiting for that, right? That's not what you should be doing. You should be taking the context you have from those first conversations and adding value on top of that. Okay. That's why that first conversation is so important. And little by little, they might be teasing out and give you more data. That's great. Those notes go in the CRM and they inform the next call. Doesn't matter if you hire an ISA to do this or not, right? The process is the same. You're looking at your notes before you make the next call. So we teach this to our ISAs. We tell them, before you hang up, once you hang up the call, you're not allowed to let go of that lead until you write down the next question you're going to ask them a month from now or 2 months from now. Give yourself a hint. Give yourself some help. Don't forget to ask how things are going with the job relocation, right? How things are going with, the kids in school, right? Don't forget to ask about the baby that's on the way. Don't forget to ask about those things. That's context. There is no automation, not yet. Maybe there will be at some point that can do this for you. You wouldn't want to, okay? These calls are valuable. If they're doing something within the next 90 days, you should be calling them every week and adding value every week because they can be gone, right? Within days. So you got to be followed up. If it's more than 90 days out, you can get away with monthly follow-up. And you don't want to be that guy that says, well, I told you I'm like 6 months out. Why'd you call me again this month? Because I found something valuable that might be helpful for you. That's why. Okay. Then you get permission to ask them how things are going. Lead with value. It can be a blog post, YouTube video, whatever piece of content. Maybe hopefully you made it, right? And you're following up with them and you're offering that as your nurture and your follow-up process. Most agents are terrible at this. Be very honest with you guys. I'm coming from love, by the way, right? Love, I want you guys to win. Most agents have terrible follow-up, which consists of checking in, touching base realm of follow-up calls, right? That is a me-focused call. That's what I want. Touching base to see if you're ready to make me money, right? That's what that means. Value-based follow-up, value-based nurturing, things about them first. What do they need? What's valuable for them? Because if you do that, guess who are they going to think is a valuable person to be in touch with? You. Okay?
On that
And
topic,
you're not like every other agent.
On that topic, we have another question. It says,
Yeah.
if you offer a value item, i.e. a buyer's guide, do you send it automatically or make them reply/ask for it?
I want to learn more about anything you can. So if you're advertising a homes list, info about a single property, a buyer guide, nothing goes out until we have a conversation. Okay? Because hey, I want to make sure this is tailor-made for you. This is custom-made for you, right? I just have a couple questions. Let me know when you've got some time. Okay? I want to make sure you get this. And again, you want to meet the lead wherever they are. If they're only responding via text message, have a conversation via text. That's fine. Even text message conversations, you eventually want to turn into a phone call, but you got to give them a reason to. Okay. I'd love to send that buyer guide as well. But did you know this other interesting thing about our market, right? I just want to make sure you got all the right information. It can be a journey here. Whenever you're ready, I'd love to do a quick consultation. Even if you're just getting started, that's where I can add the most value and see what they say, right? So we want to approach it that way. But yes, it's always about conversations. Folks, you can get a list of homes anywhere, right? So anyways, got 1 minute left. Let's do this. Follow up and nurture. Here's some great ideas, right? So I got this from a sports team that I follow, right? Hey, text this to this number if you want this, lead magnet, right? Or want to get in touch, get some updates. Every agent in America should have this. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to offer you the slide deck of this presentation. How? You can text me. text me this lead at this number, and my system will automatically, put you in there and follow up and send it to you during this presentation, by the way, right? Because you should have systems that let you do this. I think this is brilliant because you're getting permission to text them back because you're giving them an item of value. I love it. Every agent should do this, right? Really quickly, 1 minute left. So nurturing leads can also be through content, okay? And I've talked a lot about this. I'm gonna kind of breeze through these next few slides, but you should be using content as well to nurture leads. Every person that comes through the pipe, you should friend them on Facebook or Insta or whatever social media platform you've got, and you should use that to nurture them as well. Your profile should have a special offer on the back, right? 100%. You should have a Facebook group you're inviting them to. Nurture them inside that Facebook group, okay? Some tips here. Again, I'll send you guys a slide deck. We don't have a ton of time. It was a great conversation today, so we don't have time for everything. And then last but not least, my personal favorite right now, short form. Oh my goodness, folks. This is amazing how well this works. I did not believe it. I only got on TikTok daily last April, less than a year ago, okay? And look at this is data from my YouTube channel. This is not TikTok data, right? It went from down in the dumps to actually doing something because I started posting not just on YouTube, on TikTok, and people would go to my YouTube, right? Because that one thing leads to another. This is actually already 1,300 followers on TikTok. I'm in the top 10% of all TikTok just by using it for a few months, right? And posting every day. I'm in the top 10% of having followers on TikTok because I just took it seriously, okay? Huge hack. If you haven't seen this from me, you can actually create automatically a bunch of short form videos using this tool, opus.clip. Check it out. Folks, 3 special offers and we're done here today. Folks, number 1, if you want an ISA to help you with a lot of the items you saw today, we're running an end of the month sale. Check it out, powerisa.com/LCA. We drop that in the chat there. Number 2, if you need a system that helps you with the text automation, missed call text back, first call automation, conversion AI, social media posting, all these other things, right? You should check out a new tool that we have called LeadLinks, okay? Because it is a system, it is a lead conversion system that enables everything I talked about right now, okay? All the automation tools, your CRM might already have them. That's awesome. If it doesn't, you should check out a free trial of LeadLinks and see what you guys think, okay? And last but not least, if you guys want a free copy of this slide deck while we're here, text the word leads, all caps, to that phone number, okay? And yes, you're gonna be logged into my automation system. You can unsubscribe if you want to. If you want to stay in touch with us, you can stick around. I'll be publishing and giving you guys some free goodies every single week if you guys subscribe. So every agent should have this. Every agent should use SMS as well as email, as well as social media to nurture these leads, okay? You are much more likely to stay top of mind than if you only rely on phone calls, than if you only rely on text, especially if you only rely on text. If you only rely on text, you're not converting many leads. I'm very honest with you, right? It takes more than that because this is 2024, all right? Cool. Yeah. Folks, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. We're a little bit over. Sorry, everybody, a little bit over. I want to be respectful of your time. Hopefully, it's been a good one for you guys.
This has been fabulous. I want to thank you so much because I've learned a ton too. So it's been great. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. See you on the next one.
All right. Thank you, everyone.